Joining us now to talk about the Democrats' plan to abolish ICE and the political games being played with the law enforcement agency is Laura Wilkerson. Laura's son Joshua was killed by a legal immigrant who was from Belize, who came to America as a 10-year-old with his parents. Since then, she's testified before Congress on the issue of sanctuary cities, and she's been recognized by President Trump, and we are glad that she could join us today to discuss this topic. Thanks for being here, Ms. Wilkerson.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Now, we just told the audience about this huge waste of time orchestrated by Democratic Congressman from Wisconsin. His name is Mark Pocan. What is your message for people like Congressman Pocan who are playing these kind of political games with the idea of abolishing ICE?
I think it's just that. It's a political game. You know, they know how to fix it by writing new legislation that will be signed. You know, it's their job to know how, and that's the way to fix it, not to you know, they're putting something together they know won't go through. You can't abolish a law enforcement agency who, you know, helps to keep our Americans safe every day.
Well, Pocan told CBS News that, quote, the president is using ICE as a mass deportation force to rip apart the moral fabric of our nation. To rip apart the moral fabric of our nation. I wanted to get your reaction to that comment.
Well, I'll tell you what, to rip apart the moral fabrication is to do what's happened to my family, what happened to Josh. You know, it's broken our family, and not just my immediate family, but everybody that loved Josh. It's just been broken, and it's incredible that they want to use that as separated families. And at the very same time, I think the very next day they're worried about, you know, abortion not being able to kill babies. Which way do they want it? It needs to be fixed. So, you know, one day that's their worry. It's just the loudest cry to get attention when they don't want to fix the jobs themselves, is what their job's to do.
Both parties seem to feel like there is a political advantage to bringing this issue up. I mean, Democrats were the first ones to raise the issue. They think that they can win more voters by talking about the idea of abolishing ICE, even though most of them are probably not serious about it. Republicans, they think they have a winning hand here as well because they feel like most of America thinks that the idea of abolishing ICE is just way too extreme. But do you think the overall issue of immigration reform has been overly politicized?
It absolutely has, but it may have had to take place so that it can actually be fixed at some point. You know, okay. President Trump really is the first one to come out and say, look, acknowledge that things are happening in the United States that shouldn't be happening. If you have somebody that's not here legally, it shouldn't be happening when they commit a crime. And so those are totally, you know, wouldn't happen if they weren't here. But yeah, it's probably too politicized, but, you know, it's got to be fixed. And Congress knows how to do it. I think they're just unwilling to.
I agree with you. They seem unwilling. It is their responsibility to do that. Lastly, I wanted to ask you this. You know, your son was killed by a dreamer, someone who was brought to this country illegally as a child. Now, back in 2017, President Trump announced that he was going to end the DACA program. Still, a new report that's just out shows that thousands of people are still joining that program. According to one report, more than 134,000 people either joined the program for the first time or had their status in it renewed this year. That is about just 60% of the same period last year that went through that same kind of process. Now, the president has also tacitly backed a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. But some people say that's amnesty and they simply will not accept it. Given what happened to your son, is there any way that you would support a pathway to citizenship for these dreamers?
Not for all of them. Look, we have to know who's here in this country in this day and time to know whether we're safe or not. And I know you said so many people have signed up. It's probably, to me, their last chance. They may be people that have been here 20 years already or something and decided this is their last chance to, you know, to do something about it. But the idea is, no, if we're going to just, you know, omit a law for some people, then we have to omit the law first. They know how it works. You know, I raised kids and they'd say, well, that law's not fair. And my response was grow up and change it. Then you have to figure out what to do to grow up and change the law. You just can't forget it for a class of people or a certain group of people. You just can't do it.
Well, I think you and I both wish Congress would grow up a little bit and actually address this issue instead of whatever they're doing now, which doesn't seem to be like really doing anything to fix this problem. Ms. Wilkerson, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate your insight, and we wish you the best. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.